Breaking news, or at least not breaking for the next 4 days because they can't actually do the thing until July 1st. We have ourselves some very significant updates in regards to the Vancouver Canucks and forwards on the team. Because I wanted to focus on some tweets made by Frank Seravalli, by Rick Dhaliwal, and some other narratives that have formed around the Vancouver Canucks and Conor Garland. Because earlier this afternoon, Frank Seravalli tweeted this out. It sounds like the Canucks have made significant progress in extension talks with winger Conor Garland. He's not eligible to sign until July 1st, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it get over the finish line relatively shortly thereafter. Now, based off of the production and the role that Conor Garland had with the Vancouver Canucks the past few years, you had commentary like this posted out by AFP Analytics. They tweeted their Conor Garland player card. And they projected Garland to be worth an AAV of about $6.7 million if he takes a 5-year contract extension. Comparable players include Brad Marchand, Matt Zuccarello, Jaden Schwartz, Toivo Teravainen, and Riley Smith. Now, $6.7 million, that's a lot of money, you could say. But it turns out, Rick Dhaliwal went out there and posted that it sounds like the Conor Garland extension in Vancouver could be 6 years and $36 million. Now, Dhaliwal says it could be. Not saying it is. But the fact that he's even going out there and tossing a number out there like 6x6, firstly, that's a meme. It's the old Louis Eriksson contract. Secondly, it's a lot cheaper than what Garland was projected to be getting. Nikhil went out there and responded saying that it's a great contract because Garland has some really good advanced analytics and he has the time on ice of a first-line player. While it's true that, in my subjective opinion, I've said that Conor Garland is a third-line caliber guy on a Stanley Cup winning team, we really can't deny just how effective he was as a Vancouver Canuck the past few years. Sure, he's kind of ass on the power play, but he's fine, and quite frankly, even one of the best Canucks players at even strength 5v5 up front. You just really don't get much power play production out of the guy. Which is fine, he knows his role, but it does give Vancouver somewhat of a discount if he decides to sign for a 6-year, $6 million AAV deal. Irfan Ghaffar went out there and posted this. He said the Garland story in Vancouver is wild. The Canucks couldn't trade him, then he switched agencies to try and facilitate a trade. He has a couple of really good seasons for his standards, and now, at 29, he's locked up for the next 6 years with 36 sheets. This was talked about even more by folks like Dan Riccio. He tweeted out earlier this afternoon, I'd ballpark the AAV for Conor Garland at around 6.5 to 7.25 million. If the Canucks went with Riccio's idea here, they could have overpaid for Garland in the 7.2 range. If he ends up signing 6x6, then okay, maybe it's a little bit of a longer-term payment than maybe we have expected, but $6 million a year is not that bad. I saw some other people going out there and saying, like, okay, if the Canucks are willing to go 6x6 for Conor Garland, why were they so adamant on only offering 5 years for Brock? Why are they so stingy on that? Why were they so firm on not giving Brock a 6, 7, 8-year extension? And to that I say it just boils down to the way the Vancouver Canucks play and the value that they see in certain traits. Yes, Brock Boeser is a goal scorer. Yes, he has that really high-profile goal scorer reputation. Yes, he had 40 goals last year, but also, yes, Brock Boeser has been very, very much declining in terms of his mobility and foot speed over the years. Meanwhile, Conor Garland, he had 20 goals last year, 19 goals the most previously completed season, and that's not bad either. In fact, if you head over to the Vancouver Canucks of 2024-2025, Conor Garland had the same amount of points as Brock Boeser. Brock is a lot more of a trigger man by reputation, But by reputation, Conor Garland is a lot more of an everything man, who also happens to be capable of producing points, doing so mostly at 5v5. I can totally understand why the Vancouver Canucks are willing to go 6 years for Garland and not go 6 years for Brock. There will be some pushback, especially with the fan favorite narrative and all that. But you think about it, like if Brock was going to get $8 million, what would you rather have? Brock at $8 million for 6 years or Conor Garland for $6 million at 6 years? Garland's a lot faster, he's quicker, he's speedier, he's more mobile, he just does everything that you need a stingy energy forward to do, and he can score points. I said he's a third-line guy on a Stanley Cup winning team because, preferably, you don't want a guy like Conor Garland on your top power play, and he doesn't really play all too well there. His shot isn't great, it's not Brock Besser caliber, and as a result, he really doesn't pose much of a threat on the man advantage. So as a result, if you have this guy in your third line, you're probably a really good team. Doesn't change the fact, though, that Conor Garland in Vancouver is a lot more useful than just a regular old third-line guy. Maybe he was a third-liner in 23-24, now that I think about it. Pettersson, Miller, Höglander, Mikheyev. Okay, no, it's because they put freaking Mikheyev and Lafferty in the top 6. That's why Garland was a third-line guy. Anyways, there are some other people pushing back on this too. There was a tweet made by Liam saying, oh, we're just signing middle 6 guys now for $7 million because they're friends with Quinn Hughes. This is hilarious. And then an ensuing argument goes out there and replies, Garland is unquestionably a top 6 player at even strength. He can slot into top 6s on many teams. I think he's a good third-liner on a contending team, though. Hopefully, the Canucks can find a way to have him dominate third-line minutes. And then Nikhil posted the same JFresh post. Garland is a very good second-line forward. It's not even debatable. Not to mention the fact that he has been played a lot more in the lineup. The thing that I think about is, if Garland is making $6 million a year, even if he's a third-line guy, I mean, he provides a lot of value on a third line. And it's gotten to the point now where $6 million is no longer $6 million, for example. Like, when we think of Louis Eriksson 6x6, that was huge. Especially with the cap being as low as it was back in that time frame, the fact that $6 million Eriksson was being played as a first-line guy and he stunk absolutely tortured this fan base and the team, contract-wise. But Conor Garland, as a $6 million third-line guy, the cap is way up compared to 10 years ago, and you can see that Garland is a fan favorite. Everybody loves what he provides, no matter where it is that he plays on the ice. And I say where it is in the ice and not in the lineup, because, yeah, just don't play him on the power play and you're probably fine. But if the Vancouver Canucks are able to form a strong enough man advantage with personnel that can put the puck in the back of the net, maybe Evander Kane and Elias Pettersson get some chemistry going for them, if they're able to really put it together on the man advantage and have Garland dominate 5v5 at evens, I can really get on board with 6x6. Conor Garland, of course, who knows whether or not the contract is going to age properly, especially for somebody who plays the way that he does. But the Vancouver Canucks don't really care about what happens in 6 years now, don't they? They want to keep Quinn Hughes around. And while it is true that you can understand this is a desperate attempt to doing that, it's not as bad as it could have been. I think if Garland was able to get maybe a $7 million extension, I don't think it would be too surprising, but $6 million is a very pleasant surprise. So, we have to wait a few days before this is actually going to be officially announced, but for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the rumored Conor Garland $6x6 million extension. What do you think about this contract? Do you like it? Do you not? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.